Hey y'all, it's Leslie and I'm here today to show you a signature swap that I'm doing. This is a collaboration with Lisa Fisher, and she and I have communicated back and forth several times, and she graciously allowed me a little extra time with this. This was actually supposed to be done by the end of April, before May 1st, but I'll show you what I've been doing since May 5th. Actually, since May 3rd. He was born on May 5th, but on May 3rd she was in full labor and had a couple of days of it, and I was over there helping her. My daughter had my first grandchild. He's a little boy, if you can't tell. Look at that cute little face. And then, look at there. Isn't he precious? So, I have, that's actually where I've been for the past 2 months. Is just being as immersed as I can in all that cute, precious love. But in the meantime, every once in a while I would get a moment to get in my craft room, and I have been working on this project. It certainly didn't take me very long. Probably, I don't know, 3 days of work. But I only got little hours here and there to do things. So let me get started and explain. The first thing we did was we identified, for us to do this signature swap, we identified what sort of inspiration piece we had. And so I'm sure she took a direction that didn't end up where I ended up, but we both will have signatures that look very similar because they're all based off this one piece of paper. And it's just really cute. It's a paper studio paper, just one of those single sheets that you can get at Hobby Lobby. And I just love the old wood. I love the flowers of it, and I hope you can see all that detail. And then down here, and so we could pick, you know, the pinks. There's a little bit of teal in this leaf, which I didn't use, but you could have. Definitely some of these greens and peachy corals and pinks, all the shades of pink. So it's been really fun, and even a little bit of a red in there. And of course, you know, anything brown and gray. So that was sort of our starting point, was this piece of paper. And of course, I had to coffee dye it. So when I coffee dyed it, you can see the difference here between the two. So this is kind of how my inspiration went. I pulled colors from this, and then anything that that was brought out by the coffee dyeing, any colors that were brought out this way, I did those as well. So we were picking and choosing papers based on that, and I chose ephemera that went with it. So the point is that I made a signature for her, and she's making a signature for me. But I also have one for myself. So we each made 2 signatures. So my signature that I keep will be added with her signature that she sends me, and I'll have a 2 signature journal in the end. Now, I'm sure that her signature is nowhere near this fat, and there's a lot of this that can be taken out. It's just I packed and poked all the pockets full that I could. When I got through, I used all of my scraps that I possibly could, making tags and things, and when I got through, I had teeny tiny little scraps, and so I glued them onto a piece of book page or copy paper, as this one was, just some coffee dyed copy paper, and I glued those on, did some stitching on them a little bit, and made, well, this one happens to be a bookmark, this is a tag. Lisa has done these, and she does them really neatly for her mini albums, taking the scraps. Nick the Booksmith did these and sewed on them, and she called them Franken tags, and so that's kind of what I've done. And there's no embellishment for these. Lisa can do whatever she would like to. Here's another one, just some square scraps I had left over onto a piece of scrap. And here's another one. So when I got through, I had enough to do Lisa a set of 4 and myself a set of 4. So we each have 4 pieces from the scraps. Everything else went into the album, all the papers and things. I pulled from some printable ephemera, I'll try to do some links below that'll show you where I got the ephemera for this. I may just have to do a video one day and take you through the different types of ephemera that I've purchased. It's some printable digital ephemera that I've gotten from Etsy, is what it is. So I've just got it tied up with some little extra lace for Lisa. She can have that. And I've included a bookmark. This is actually a piece of file folder that I did, and I laid a feather stencil on it, which made me think about writing journals. So I did a little stamp at the top of some writing there. And then I did a stamp at the bottom that's a typewriter, and it says write your own story. And I just thought this was a cute little bookmark to add. So she and I both got one of those. Everything she got, I got. It's identical. So I have this tucked in here, but yet it could be used as a bookmark throughout the journal. Okay. I started with this page, and I guess I'm going to take you page by page. It is not bound yet, which makes it a little difficult to show, but I'm going to take you page by page. So this just created a little belly band here that you can put the bookmark in, or some other things that you're saving. As I said, I have jam-packed every pocket and tuck, but again, Lisa can take all this out that she wants to, or move it around. So first thing, we have a doily booklet of tracing paper, so it's good writing paper. And we have this piece, which is a tall piece of paper that I have trimmed down. Again, it was a printed piece of paper. Not sure where I got them all. This came from a kit. And I made a tag out of it, a little deli paper bag that I had stamped on. Here's a little booklet with some tickets as the closure, with just some of this cording. Baker's twine. I couldn't think of it. And then when you open it, there's plenty of writing space. And again, this was created when you coffee dye something. If you lay something else on top of it, then the thing that you lay on top is going to sort of soak up the coffee into it, and that's going to leave sort of a lighter area, but it is still coffee dyed. Okay, and then this closes this way, or some way, just twists around. Okay. There we go. Then here's another piece of ephemera. We've got some piece of lace. This is just some lace that I then inked up a little bit. It was polyester, so it didn't want to coffee dye, so I just inked it up a little bit. There's some printable ephemera. This is a postcard just printed onto copy paper that I've inked up a little bit. And then this is another piece of my stamps, just an ephemera that I've done. Okay. Then over here, we've got a little pocket that I've created using some patterned paper and added a little lace at the top of the pocket. I'll bring you in a little bit. I don't think you can see very well the detail here. Maybe this is a little bit better. Now you can see that detail there. And inside the pocket, I've got a piece. I did a lot of sewing. Every page has sewing on the edges, with either zigzag or straight stitch. And most of the tags have sewing as well. So this was a piece of 4x6. that just seemed to match in theme and coloration. And I did some stamps on the back. One of the things that I really like about doing vintage and junk journals, so to speak, even though none of this was junky, is that when I do a stamp and it's not very clear, or it just doesn't end up very well, to me, that kind of adds to the feel of it. It seems just a little more vintage and worn. Not so much grungy, but just a little more worn. And again, more vintage ephemera that I've just printed onto paper. Once I found this gingham paper, then I was able to kind of come up with my plan. What was my focus going to be? We had the paper that we had chosen, so we knew the theme and the coloration, but I needed something to kind of pull from. What was I thinking? What went with it? This pink gingham paper is what brought it all to my mind. I knew that doilies with this gingham was just going to feel country to me. I had some canning jar, a stamp, and some canning jar ephemera that I could print. So I got to thinking about those things, and I knew that I was going to go in the country feel. I also had some personal ephemera from my granddad, and you'll see that in this book as well, and I'll point it out to you. So this is a printable jar, and Lindsay Zenor linked, has a link where, I'll send a link, good grief, where she has cut this jar that prints, you know, flat, and she cuts the little flap off here that would normally stick up, and so she did that and tucked a little piece of paper behind it. So I just took it a step further and made it just be a little book. So that's a little hidden journaling spot for you. And then there's another tag of just some coffee dyed papers. Okay. Oh, goodness, my hands aren't working well, my mouth's not working well, my thoughts aren't working well. So just bear with me. Again, lace on this edge. Here's a printable piece of ephemera, and I've just got it tucked in here, and it just grabs hold of the lacy edge and sticks in there just nicely. I have some things tucked over here. This is a vintage library pocket that I stamped with one of my stamps. I think it's a Stampin' Up stamp. It's something old that I had. This is a piece of coffee dyed paper that I laid on a piece, a plate that I have, a little platter that you put things on to show them, cookie platter or whatever. And so I laid this on there, and it gave a texture. You can see here, but everything you see has a bumpy texture, and so, but yet it's still smooth enough that you can write on, and it's just super cool. I love that. Tucked back there. I also have an actual library card, catalog card that I've tucked in the library pocket. Used a piece of the scrap. I used all of the scraps of lace and that I cut off and trimmed from other places. I used it all. A little tab on this place, and I just zigzagged there at the bottom of it. And another little postcard printable that I had. On this page, another thing that I wanted to do was include some coloring pages, because in a journal for me, I need more than just writing space. I need things to do, look at, and see. So a coloring page suited my taste for this, and I found one that had similar floral accents. The paper here again has the doily laid on top of it. This is a book page pocket. Again, I got all of these. I'm going to try and remember, but I got all of these from Patricia Viramontes, Gayle Agostinelli, Diane Shaw, Diane H on, Diane Shaw is Shaw Craft1, and I got some from Diane H on her channel. And then some I just kind of did myself, and I was trying to see. I'm going to do another video about all the pockets and tucks I have, but here's another little tag. Again, it's not exact for the colors and style and everything, but it's really close, and I just love the little bird bringing out a little bit of that teal accent that we had. I did a little charm. Oops. I did a little charm. It's a Tim Holtz pen or bulb pen here. We used to call them garment pens. And then it's got just a few beads on it. And it's hanging off the lace here at the top of this page. There's so much, it's going to be hard for me to remember to say everything. There's a one of the jar stamps that I have, and I put a little butterfly inside of it on top of an index card. And that tucks behind this book page pocket here. I added it, which folds down. And then I added a piece of lace here that acts as a belly band. And of course you could tuck up in this area as well. So we have this piece that tucks and this piece that tucks. And this is just a plain piece of coffee dye paper. Here we have a faux envelope. This idea came from Tracie Fox. Tracie Fox LoveJunk Journals. Love her channel. She's, I don't know, probably one of my favorites. I don't know, she's just the sweetest thing ever. And she does this envelope book. And she does a little booklet inside of an envelope. Well, I just took a piece of the pattern paper that I had, and it was just a long piece. And I took it and just folded it up and made a faux envelope. So all of this area you can journal in as well. And then inside here, we've got a little booklet. And the first thing you see is a piece of the vintage ephemera that I had. This is from my personal collection. My granddad had a dairy farm. He actually had pigs at one time. They always had chickens just in the yard chickens, yard birds, my grandmother called them. And then he had a dairy farm. And he had the cows that he milked and pasteurized it and processed it, and they bottled the milk and he delivered. And this is some of the papers for the order forms for the delivery of the milk. Let me see, turn it this way. There you go. And so that was really fun. They used to call the skim milk, they used to call it Weight Watchers and protein milk, light style. It wasn't actually the skim milk or fat-free milk that we call it today. They even called it skim milk for a little while, but now they're calling it fat-free. There's some children's writing paper, some ledger paper, and that just is all in here. And again, the piece of ephemera is folded in the back. Oh, goodness. Folded in the back and creates that little extra place for journaling. And then I stitched this with my sewing machine, and it sewed through all of this paper. It's very thin paper, and it sewed through, not a problem at all. I'm actually going to do a video on how to sew paper and how that all works very soon as well, because I've got a friend who has MS, and she commented on one of my videos, and she wants to know how to do it. And I've got a couple of tips now that I've done. So this little faux envelope tucks in there beneath the belly band that I created here, just as a fun little way of having that look. So again, we have some doily that's been coffee stained, and it's a place to do a little hidden journaling here. Or it could also be a tuck for you. This page, we've got another one of those tags that I've laid on top of a plate. So everything you see here has a texture. All of this is textured. embossed in a way. I don't know if I can. No, you can't really tell it that way. I've glued on a piece of lace here at the bottom and another piece of lace at the top for the tab. Printed off another ephemera that is just on copy paper and went with our theme. This is a jar sticker that I have left the, I pulled off just a little bit of the backing of the sticker on this side so that things will go in and sort of grab that stickiness. And then this part, this half of the jar, I left that sticker paper on the back. Tied a little trim around it, baker's twine, just to make it look even cuter, I think. I just love that. So this it just reinforces the idea that this paper took me. It took me down that country road and just, you know, I had a whole wonderful time just looking through. Here I have another piece of paper that I have stamped, this time with a little bit of color, and put it in there. It's this is actually cardstock. Here we have a butterfly. This is just a wooden butterfly button. I think I've got some of those somewhere. Maybe in here. Oh heck no. Oh well, I don't know where they went. But I had some wooden butterfly buttons. And I took one of those, and the color of it was really off. So I took a piece of the printed ephemera and laid the part of it over the butterfly and trimmed it out. Glued it on, trimmed it out. Added a little baker's twine to be the body and the antenna. So it's there, glued on. It is a little wooden, so it is, you know, there is some dimension to this. But what it does, what its purpose is to hold down this. You see this heart book page? Well, it actually opens up. Let's see. There we go. To this. And I have actually, let me move it up. I've gessoed the paper on the inside, so your pen and pencil, whatever you use, will write on it. It is book paper. You can still see the writing inside, vaguely, but yet it's put in the background enough that you can actually write on this and it goes. This is another a little idea that I got. This came from Kerr. And I think her name's pronounced G. It may be Guy, because it's G-I Kerr. And she's got some great ideas. I'm just going to have to do a video on all these ideas that I've found. So it folds up, the sides tuck in, and then the front ends up looking like a little heart. Cute as it could be, and then all of this tucks in under the wing tip there. Here we have another page of the copy paper and that's been coffee dyed, and here we have some lace here across the top. Here we have a paper clip that I have done with some flowers on and a button, and I've glued part of the one of the layers of the flower on top of the paper clip back there, so that only one leg is showing and the other leg is in between these two layers. You can't see it. Nope. But it's in there. And then I did a little bit of string in the button. I love buttons that have a little thread in them, so I went ahead and did that. The top flower has been stamped again. Here we have a few things of ephemera. This says Vocal Beauties Opera. There is some music paper in this book as well. Here's another page of some music. And then an index card that is stamped with the postcard stamp, and on the back it has what looks like some writing. So these things are tucked here with the paper clip. On this page, you've got another book page pocket. This one is a Patricia Viramontes pocket. It has a tuck here in the back that I've put in a little piece of tag, and another one that I've printed. This is Things to Do with the little flowers. And it tucks here in the back. This book page pocket is glued on the 3 sides. And then I still stitched around a little bit on that too. I've got some lace here at the bottom that could be used as a tuck. Goodness gracious. There. You can't see the lace, the detail. There we go. And that could be used as a tuck. Here is a piece of the pattern paper that matched, that I've stamped on the back. Here is a little tag that I've tucked under, a little, well, goodness. There we go. A little tag that I've tucked under the back that's got a little piece of washi tape on it. Oh shoot, I think I ripped that. I'll have to glue that back. Darn, sorry about that, Lisa. Here we have another little tag that was printed from a kit somewhere. And then the tuck's in the back. This page we have a piece of deli paper that has been coffee dyed, and a doily has been laid on there. It gave it a little different look. I've of course stitched it. This is a different looking stitch. I call that one of my heartbeat stitches. And then I've done a pinking, pinked edge, or the zigzag edge. On this page we have a tuck with a little lace at the top, just another strip of the paper. I started with 12 by 12 papers on most of these. Some of them were 8.5 by 11. The size of this journal is actually 8.5 by 11, so it's this size, and we fold it in half. That just made it super simple. But I did use a bunch of 12 by 12, so when I cut those down by 8.5 by 11, I had several of these strips left. So this strip was perfect to make a pocket on several pages. I do have a piece of vintage recipe. Good grief, recipe book page. I couldn't think of that word. Oh, I tell you. And then here we've got a piece of ledger paper that has been glued onto one of the printed ephemera pieces that I found. All these ephemera pieces I had already for other projects. It just happened that they went really well with this one as well. I have one of my heart paper clips here that is clipping on this faux postcard. So right there is the heart paper clip. I do have a video for that. I'll try to link it in the iCard above, but knowing me, I'll forget, but maybe I will. Here we have this faux postcard paper that's got some stamps, some postage stamps on the back, and the postcard stamp on the front. Then I put a little bit of washi. I don't know how to use washi in junk journals or anything else. I have washi. I got to get rid of it because I don't even use it. I don't know how. And when I do use it, I use it just a little bit like this. It doesn't really have a purpose, but hey, there's some washi. But it was really cute. Seemed to go with this paper. On this page, the back of the heart paper clip. So I designed the heart paper clip, but Tracie Fox took it and made it gorgeous by adding the little curled ends. So it's a, she says it's a kiss and a hug. So I thought it was kind of cute. Or a kiss and a hug. However that goes, the X's and the O's. Here we have another little faux envelope that I've taken just a 4x6 piece of pattern paper that actually matched perfectly. So this is from the Paper Studio line as well. And then we have some of these flower stamps that I've added on the back. I just stamped them off the edge a little bit, and it gave much more interest to the paper. It allows more space for journaling, but it just gives a lot more interest. And again, this stamp wasn't inked or stamped very well, but it looks great with this. So that's just a little faux envelope here. On this page, we've got lace on the edge here. I had trimmed some pages. I'll show you in just a moment. I had to trim some of this off of another page because of the way it was laying, and I had no other plan for it, so I glued it right here. It does have the ability to be a tuck, and it just looks precious as it can be. This piece is actually glued on, and it comes a little page that you can write on here. It flips out there, and it creates the look that it's tucked, but it's actually a faux page. I even tried to pull it out. But I love this little detail. That was just super cute, in my opinion. This is another one that I laid a stencil on top of, this paper in the back. It was a stencil of a hydrangea blossom with the leaves things. I just thought it was so sweet. Hydrangeas weren't really in our inspiration piece, but I think floral goes with floral. So here's the piece that I actually trimmed this little piece off. I had to trim it off over here in the corner. It just wasn't laying the way I wanted it to. I have sprayed this with some coffee and a little pink Tattered Rose ink from Tim Holtz, and just kind of splattered that on there to get it good. And it is glued on to create a little pocket. I have a piece of printed ephemera that's got some of the greens that we're bringing out. And again, some baker's twine. I've done some pink and some brown because that's the baker's twine I use throughout this book. So it's tucked in there. Here we have another pocket with some lace here at the bottom. This is some of the eyelet lace that I have. I tell you, eyelet lace and gingham just take me back. I just love it. Love it, love it. I've added a little gem here at the bottom, a little charm of sorts. I have some pieces of the printed ephemera that I've added again in this pocket. This one with the flowers, and it's just printed on paper. Just plain old copy paper, why not? And here's another one that's printed, and then it's attached to the ledger paper. I apologize ahead of time for my dog because she is starting to fuss. This is actually a piece of I think it's tracing paper here in the back that this was printed on. Everything can be written on that's in this book, even the deli paper. The deli paper has to be written on with pencil though. That's the only catch. Here we have a tuck that's created with just a little bit of ledger paper that I had left over. Again, this is a pan that I got at the Dollar Tree that I use to put some of my coffee dye papers on to put them in the oven. And this is just a piece of the parchment paper that I laid onto the tray. That's what this is, parchment paper. I laid onto this tray because I didn't want this pattern on the paper. So I laid this parchment paper on, and then I put my other paper on top of it. I'll go through how I coffee dye my paper in another video as well. And here's this little tuck of the ledger paper on the side. In the tuck, you've got a piece of the, this is a piece that was left over from the 12 by 12 when you trim it down to 8.5 by 11. And this piece, of course, is lined, so it's perfect for writing, and then it's got plenty of writing space on the inside. Also included on this side is a piece of the ledger paper with the flowers. I just, you know, obviously I love these so much. And finally, we have a piece of index card that has been stamped with a chicken, a rooster, and some eggs here in a basket. Again, that goes with that farm country feeling that I had when I was doing this. And I had a little bit of a chicken wire stamp, so I've done that on the back here. Again, wasn't stamped clearly. They overlap a little bit, but you know what? It just goes with that vintage feel of everything. On this page, I have a little more of the eyelet lace. This is a different kind because it has what I like to call double eyelet. It has the eyelet up here, and then it's got the stitching down here as well. The edge of it was a little frayed, and I love that, so I made sure that that hung off the bottom of the paper. We've got another piece of the pattern paper that matches in theme, and it's got stamps on the back as well. Again, it was coffee dyed. You can see on this one, I think, yes, this is another cookie sheet that I have, and I laid these on, and it gave that sort of modeled impression or design there. I really like that. Okay. Here is one of the pages of music that I've included. I know that Lisa is a strong Christian, so I included some music from a hymnal, vintage hymnal that I have. And it's actually sewn in, and it's glued and sewn in, and it's glued so it's actually a page. It's a tip-in, tuck-in page. So it's separate from the others. It's not going to be included in the signature stitching, I guess you could say. So that gives her a lot of writing space. And it says weaves a story to tell. I thought that was really good, including what this book is. It's about a journal for writing. Lisa likes to write in her journals. Here I've done a faux banner. It's some pieces that I had. These are little cardstock pieces that came from some kit I had, or a paper pack. On this middle one, I have left it loose so she can do a little journaling here for a hidden journaling spot. They're all loose at the bottom, so she can tuck something under there if she'd like. And just, you know, have it tucked like that. This is a little tag I made with a couple of printed pieces. This printed here, and then this is another little printed piece, and I just sewed those up together, giving her a little hidden journaling spot. And the strings I left on, I just really love the strings, but well, shoot. And I tied on a key, but obviously I didn't tie it well enough, so I will take care of that. There's a piece of ledger paper that's in the green color that I've done here at the bottom. This top page has been used my pinking shears or the zigzag cutters. I have sewn the page to the journal page, and then allowed this to be just a flip, and then the back is attached so it can be tucked. So that's how this piece tucks in, just like this is how I had it. So I will put this on in a little bit. Jeez. Oh, and I have another little charm here that's got some little pink beads on it, and it is sticking off of the lace on this page. This lace is lace that I got from Dollar Tree. You get 3 yards of this crochet lace for $1, and that makes it about 33 cents a yard, and it's really hard to beat that. So I have tons of this lace. Here we have another jar stamp that I've put a rose in. This made me think of Beauty and the Beast when I did that, but it was a cute thing. I have distressed the edges a little bit of this one because I made an accident. And so the way I fixed that accident so you wouldn't know it is I distressed those edges a little bit and made them look a little grungy. Got a couple of things tucked in here. One of them is a faux envelope using that family ephemera of the milk order paper that has been coffee dyed. It's a little heavily coffee dyed here, but at least if she doesn't want that, she can take a wet paper towel and wipe some of this off, and it will lighten it a lot if she wanted to. But I just really like that look. I've sewn around it and created a faux envelope here. This is another piece that was trimmed off of another page, and I have just created a tag flip journaling spot here, bringing a little pink to these pages. Again, this shows where I've done some of the Tim Holtz inks with the coffee spray. We didn't want anything that was plain white, but I didn't want everything completely coffee stained as well. So this gave me a little bit of a difference. And I hope that Lisa enjoys this textural difference here. She may decide this is too big of a signature, and so she could divide it in two, and this creates one signature, and this would be a second signature. I've used a little bit of the washi tape here. I stuck it down onto this piece of scrap, sewed it on the page, and you have a flip for journaling here. Again, this is another one of those 4x6 papers that just seem to match the paper line, and I have sewn it on so it flips out, and it's got a postcard stamp on it. This is actually two pieces of washi tape on top of one another. I've used a pink polka dotted in the back, and then it's got the, now I think you can see it, then it's got the flowered smaller washi tape on top. I think you can see it. Another piece of the pink paper with a little doily on it. The doily on the other side. I love doilies. This tux, I just love doilies. It just went with this in my opinion. Here again we've got the coffee stain paper. This is a piece of some journaling tags that I got from Canvas Corp Creations, and these are some of the 7 Gypsies cards. I think these were. They may have been, I think these were 7 Gypsies. But anyways, it's happiness cards, and it says 10 things that make me happy, 4 things that make me ecstatic. So I hope Lisa can fill this up and need more room to make her list on the back. Here we have a piece of the doily is here. On top of the doily, I have a piece of, this is a piece of dictionary page that has been cut out using a scalloped circle die. And this is another circle piece of cardstock tag that I had from one of my paper kits. And I have folded that over so that it's on this side as well. So all 3 of these pieces, the doily, the scallop circle die out of the dictionary page, and this piece of ephemera here have been flipped over and attached. And the doily is obviously a tuck, but also you have a tuck with the small cardstock tag there as well. On this page we have tucked under the doily a piece of the paper from the Edith Holden book, Diary of the Country Diary of an Edwardian Lady. And she had drawn all these pictures and written in handwriting, and so this is just a beautiful book. And I kind of thought that this page would suit well with our theme and our look, and it has a nice little poem on the back with some more of the little floral embellishments, so I thought that would look really good in this. Since we have an Edwardian lady here, this has nothing to do with Edith Holden, but I liked it. It says Loretta at the bottom. I got this from Dear Julie Julie. And again, one day I'll make a video and show you the links for all that. Here we have inside of this tuck here 3 tags. One of them is a piece of the 8.5 by 11 printed paper that I've just folded in half to create this little tuck, and it's just been inked on the back. Another little tag with the bird, and then this piece of printed ephemera. So the colors that I've used are all different shades, and if I put pink next to pink, you would go, wait, no, that doesn't go well. You know, this color of pink doesn't go well with the gingham pink that I used, but it all works together in where I've placed them. So this looks good with this. On the back here, this is just one of those pieces that looks like the inspiration piece, but it's not exact. This, I believe I got from Daily Girl. I don't remember her. Oh, I'll just have to provide links one day. Maybe I will this time. But it looks very similar to this. I thought it was so close that it was just perfect to use. And of course, this can be used as journaling area. You can journal on the gingham here. Again, another piece of eyelet lace. This has a scalloped edge. I let that hang off the bottom of the paper as well. It is stitched on to make sure that it will not ravel. Here we have a piece of the Vintage Family Ephemera, and this one actually has the name of the company on it, Barbara Pure Milk Company. And this is the stamp that I found at Hobby Lobby in their 70% off sale, but it actually was when they were already in the 90% off section. And so I got the stamp for 59 cents. And it is, it's the chicken, the pig, and the cow, which goes perfectly with the milk and the farm theme that I have. And that's what brought it all together for me, was this stamp, this paper, and the gingham. And I thought, okay, there's my focus. And I can bring in my family ephemera so it really speaks about me in this little junk journal. Here's another paper clip. This has the edges curled. This is a Tracie Fox idea. Then when you turn the page here, we have another book page. This is a Gayle Agostinelli idea, and it has a flip where I've gessoed over the words a little bit to give her a place for journaling. But when it's closed, you don't see that, and you're not really sure that it's a possibility there. You do have a little pocket here that could be a tuck. I've got some tags over here that I pulled out somewhere. I've done a little stapling here at the top with them. This is pieces of scrap ribbon that I had from some purpose. There was 3 of these. Okay, and then we have here a large page, a large tag that had cut out. And then these tucks, and I think I'm going to tuck them right here because I don't know where they were supposed to live, and they look like they want to live right there. Here we have another piece. It's file folder that's tucked over here, and it's got the stamp of the cow, the pig, and the chicken. It is held on by one of those heart paper clips that has the Tracie Fox loops on the back. So here you have this piece. It could also be used as a bookmark, and it has flowers on this side and the chicken wire on the inside. A piece of the chicken wire paper that I had, and it's on top of this coffee dyed doily paper. On this side is where this piece of file folder is connecting, and I have the heart showing on this side. Just, I don't know why, but I do. There's a little pocket here created by this flip, and this little pocket has a piece of index card that I've cut around the edges to make it look old. Okay, and then we have this corner tuck. This one's called, this is the Rita Donnelly flip, they call it. Rita Donnelly is Grandma Rees on YouTube. Again, I'll give you some links one day. And this is just a flip up. It's a corner flip. So it's just a square piece of paper that you put on the corner, attach along those 2 sides, and then it leaves this area as a closed flip with a pocket for you. On this page I have a similar sort of pocket, but it's not the same sort of pocket, but in design the two look similar, so I thought that balanced really well. And you have another card that tucks with a little bit of ledger paper on this side, and it's covered with ledger paper on the back. Well, I love those as a different way of writing and having something to write on instead of just a plain copy paper. Here we have another one of the Tracie Fox paper clips here, and I've added a charm on the edge for Lisa, and this holds this piece here. It holds it down. You see this is loose. This holds it down. This is from Kerr, or Guy Kerr again. Sorry about the interruptions. This one flips out. It is very similar to the heart flip. This flips out to create this large writing area as well. Again, your sides will tuck in so that you have a triangular piece that is again held on by the paper clip. Oops. There we go. Just like that. And finally, that gets us to the back page, which has, again, this belly band that comes from the front. And this is the inspiration piece. I put it on the outside just because I thought that was a great way for us to know exactly what the inspiration was. And here we have a piece of ephemera that is tucked in. Again, this is from my family. This is our dairy name, and it was City Dairy. I'm covering up my grandfather's name. And here we have that cow, pig, and chicken stamp again. And when you close it, you can actually see that same stamp through the outside. So I really like that. And that tucks right inside here in the belly band. And again, as I said, it's a huge, huge, huge signature that could be broken apart into two. But once I got started, I couldn't stop filling. And Lisa, of course, is welcome to take all of these tags out. But I wanted to jam pack it full, and that way she can take out what she doesn't want to use. There. And I got a paper clip that came off, and I need to tie on my key again. But I'm glad these things happened before I sent it to Lisa, because goodness gracious. Okay. So that is the signature. Lisa will be sending me a signature, and I've got one that's identical to this. And I'm sending her all of the leftover bits, anything that I had pulled and got ready for these that just didn't end up making it into the actual signature. I've got that stuff for her as well. And I hope you enjoyed this. One thing that I'm going to do is I apologize again. One thing I'm going to do is I'm going to show you how to do coffee staining that is acid-free so that you can use it with your photos. Because the one thing about junk journaling, to me, I love the way there's pockets and tucks and envelopes and things, but I want to be able to use it with photos too. I'm not a journaler of sorts where I write things. So I really want to be able, and a lot of the things I use are acid-free, so I'd like to be able to get the coffee staining acid-free as well, and I've got a tip for that coming up. I do hope you enjoyed this. This was a different take for me. I've been normally doing mini albums, but I definitely wanted to do this swap with Lisa. And I'm super excited about getting started in this. And if you want to see more, I will be doing a final flip through where I've attached the two signatures I have into a book cover. And I will be going through a final flip through for that for you. And if there's anything else that you'd like to see in this junk journaling world, the questions you have, I do have videos coming up with sewing, coffee staining, where the flips and the flaps and all that came from, all those sorts of ideas. So if there's anything that you'd like to see or you have questions about, leave me a comment below and let me know. Have you ever done junk journaling? Let me know that too below. And I'll see you soon. Bye. Thank you for stopping by.